Hi guys, it's reaction time. Before I get on to the reaction, a huge thank you to Heaven's Edge for sending me this amazing t-shirt through the post. Thank you so much to the band. They got a brilliant album out called Get It Right. It's already released this year. Heaven's Edge are such an underrated band. They brought one of the best albums out of the 90s, their self-titled album as well. But check out Get It Right and that album, you're going to love them. Right, okay. Judas Priest. Need I say more? So, man, anyone who watches this channel would know my history with Judas Priest. So, I'm not the massive fan of Judas Priest. I'm not as big as a lot of, biggest fan as a lot of people. I know, they're the gods of metal. I really respect everything they've done. I respect everything about the band, I really do, and I actually love a load of their songs, but I'm not a die-hard Judas Priest fan. I never have been. Even when I was growing up as a kid, I had a couple of Priest albums, but they weren't the ones I reached for. There was a lot of other bands I reached for, and just that's the way it is. But I've got to say, Firepower was amazing. So that, for me, probably along with Painkiller, are for my favourite Priest albums. And I think that's because, one, they just sounded so good production wise. Do you know what I mean? Sounded so heavy. I think, and I know they meant to do it, this stripped back sound that they, that production they had through the 80s, early albums especially. I know it's a thing and they were going for that, but it was it made me miss something from the band. How can you say it? It didn't have no depth to the sound of the band. And I think they suffered because of that a little bit. That's only my opinion, by the way. So, I want to make that clear. But I did love sporadic songs of Priest, through the years. And like I said, Painkiller, I think, was an amazing album. And then Firepower came out, and it sounds amazing. There were some amazing songs on it, and I think it could be my favourite Priest album. So, we got a new song. And it's the big news, isn't it? It's the fucking big news. I mean, man, I was thinking this earlier on. The big bands, like the big talking points are Maiden, when they brought out, obviously, Senjutsu in 2021. I mean, there was so much buzz around that album. Whether the album reached the heights it was meant to for a lot of people, it's just all to their own. But it was the biggest thing. Then obviously you got Metallica with their new album that came out this year. I mean, there was so much buzz around Metallica's album. It's unbelievable. It's still going now. And a big buzz, I think, for next year. And fucking good luck to him is Judas Priest, for sure. Everyone's looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it, even not being the biggest Priest fan, because I think the best is yet to come, weirdly, all these fucking years later. I just, like I said, Firepower. If it's anything like Firepower, I'm going to fucking love it. So, but beware, I'm not the biggest Priest fan. So, I don't know what we're going to get. I'm hoping it's along the same lines of Firepower, because I think that was an amazing album and sounded amazing. I'm sure it will be. There was a lot of buzz around the album, well deserved as well. So, without further ado, this came out yesterday. This is Judas Priest. This is Panic Attack. Here we go. got to stop it there, guys, because I think it's going to go into a solo. But man, I'm so happy. I am so happy. This is just a sweet spot for me for Priest. I think they perfected firepower, I think, and brought even more into their classic sound, but in a really good way. So I thought at the beginning, I love the intro, love the synths. I almost feel like this almost feels like, and it's not them just replaying hashing old stuff. It's almost at the stage of their career I'm liking this. It's almost like the Scorpions' last album. They almost took parts of their career and gave you little flashes of it to say, you know, this is sort of from that part. You can't say Judas Priest are influenced by anyone else. It's themselves, isn't it? You know, they influence so many bands, and maybe the most bands these days, new bands, perhaps Priest influence, they're the metal band that influences new metal bands now more than any band. There's so many bands I think that's got a lot of Priest type sound. Do you know what I mean? There's so many, but they obviously, there's bits of this that give me that turbo sort of ram it down period, like with the synths and all that. And then you've got the riff that came in the beginning, and I thought, again, I just did a reaction. The last reaction I just did, I talked about great intros. I mean, what a build up that was from the synths, and then that one guitar coming in, then the second guitar coming in, and it was just almost like it was just building and building and building. You was thinking, here we go, here we fucking go. And yeah, it crashed in and I was there. They fucking did their job with a great intro. The production is fucking brilliant again as well. It sounds absolutely amazing, and I think that the production helps Rob's Halford's voice as well. I think that sometimes in that old production, the, you know, early 80s and stuff, I think where it's sort of a tinny production, it's sort of that it went also with Rob's voice as well. I don't think it helped. Now there's a lot more depth to the production. He's singing a little bit of a lower range, although you can't fucking argue he sounds brilliant on this. Even though those higher notes, he sounds even better than he did on Firepower. But I think the production helps as well. It's got like a smoothness and a richness to the production. And that production also, that mix also really shows off the drums. It's got Travis, I think, on the drums. That some double kick work going there in the chorus. I love the way that he just went verse and chorus. It didn't fuck around getting to the chorus, did it? It was just a couple of verses, fucking banging the chorus. There was no more pre-chorus or bridge. Amazing stuff. Halford, like I said, I mean, I've got to give a shout out, man. He sounds fucking amazing on this. He really does. And I love that part that it's on right now, the bit where it goes Alien Nations. That bit, it really, again, I said they're sort of paying homage to themselves, if you like, giving the fans, I suppose they're thinking to themselves, this could be our last album, you know. Firepower was a little while ago, wasn't it? So it could be their last album. So it's almost like this is a little bit of a painkiller for you. That's how it sounded in that little breakdown bit there, and fucking love it. I mean, man, it couldn't have got better for me. And I was saying like I said on a thing with the Iridiates the other day about this is their best album. Like Firepower was their best album, and I think almost their later period, the latter period for me, is better. And that's cool, isn't it? We can become fans at all different types of stages with bands, but I think they're sort of matured into this, and along with the great production, I think that's really helping me. It helps my ears up from a young age. I remember growing up in the 80s and putting my records on and almost disregarding albums that sounded bad. You know, even at that age, when I was like fucking 11, 12, I would like, you know, if a band brought an album out, and take this for example, and I know a lot of people would disagree with this, the Dokken albums, Under Lock and Key and Back for the Attack. Because Under Lock and Key sounded so much fucking better. And a lot of people argue Back for the Attack's better. Under Lock and Key is massive for me, and mainly production wise as well. Not just songwriting, production. It sounded so much better than that album, and I would always like hone in on the great production. You know, I always veered away from Animal Magnetism. I thought there was something wrong with that, with the Scorpions. I went towards Blackout and Love Drive. I thought they sounded better. So I've always been this production, not nut, but if something sounds good to me, I you know, hone in on it and I want to play that. So I think that's what's helping me with Priest lately. I think the Firepower album sounds great, and this sounds fucking great as well. And we ain't even had the solo yet, so we got obviously Richie Faulkner and Glenn Tipton. I don't know if they're going to swap around. Hopefully they do on this solo, so we can hear both of them showing off. But here we go for the rest, guys. Wow. The perfect single, I think, to please fans. The perfect single to come out first. That's got to be the lead-off track, in it. I haven't got a track listing, but that's got to be the first track, surely. Because it had a brilliant intro, extended solos. It almost, again, had that painkiller feel where you know, it could have ended. The song could have ended, but then they blasted you with another solo. I love the way, I fucking love it when you can hear the guitars switching, when you know the difference. I could hear one guitar in one ear. I weren't sure who did the first solo, to tell you the truth. I won't lie to you. And I don't know if the first one was Glenn and the next one was Richie Faulkner. I don't know. But you could hear the amazing tone of the guitar and the difference in its switch. And I fucking love that. Brilliant little twin lead part. When I was doing a and then the twin lead part came in at the end before that. That high-end vocal where Halford came in, just after I put the headphones back on, he come up with a real high bit and then he done a scream at the end. He sounded fucking amazing. I gotta say, if that song was on Firepower, it would have been one of the best tracks. I think that is one excellent start for the new Judas Priest album. And that's coming from someone who is not a massive fan. I think I'm becoming more of a fan with their newer stuff for sure. I fucking love that, man. That was Judas Priest. That was Panic Attack. The album is coming out, I think it's next year though, isn't it? I think they've given a date, but I can't fucking remember when it is. But man, Invisible Shield is the name of the album. Yeah, I think it's definitely next year because it's like fucking the end of October nearly now, and it's so That's going to be a real highlight of fucking next year for sure. It's going to be the album. It's going to be the big album for next year. How cool was that? That was Judas Priest. That was Panic Attack. Let me know what you think of that in the comments below, guys. And I'll see you soon.